Okay, hi Adrienne, how are you?
I am fine, Douglas. How are you?
Doing great, thank you. Nice to see you. Thank you for coming on the show. So, on the top of your bio, it says MsUnderstood Adrienne. Where did that come from? Tell us that story.
Wow. If I could begin the real story versus what we actually have today. Um, in another life, in a former life, I was actually dabbling in the stripping world. And that was my name because I was also a school teacher. So I needed to keep my miss somewhere so that even if they did sneak into the club or anything, they wouldn't lose the lesson that they were taught in the classroom. So the misunderstood actually started right there in the strip club. That became the name of that was like my alter ego. Fast forward later, God was really adamant about telling me that this was not the way that people should know me. I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. So my MS became a place where I could now be the living example of what it looks like to have multiple sclerosis and also be understood, be out there still trying to do what I believe that I've been purposed for, but there needs to be an understanding about me. And we wrap that into the multiple sclerosis. So that is the MS understood.
That's an amazing story. Did the two Adrians ever collide?
Well, I can say that the two Adrians collided in a nice way because it was more so like they sat down and had a whole conversation. So it was like the present day the one Adrian was so, I want to say, disobedient that like I literally lost my way. I lost my walk. I had to learn how to walk again, so within all of that process, I was learning the other Adrian was coming back into fruition, like I had a book that was called The Journey to the Center of the Will. And it was a respond, and it was like a call and response type of a book. And that was where it started. The clash was sitting down and saying, okay, now what has God called us to do? Taking all of it and making it exactly what it is because we lived it. So that's why you have everything else that is going on with the book and the company, everything.
Was it the multiple sclerosis that was your awakening that got you away from the strip club and onto a different path? Was that the epiphany that sort of did it? Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay.
I literally heard God say, they will know you, but not like that, like not like this.
Oh,
And
all
I
right.
was, you know, at the time when it happened, I didn't understand any of it. But as life has progressed and I have gotten better, like my doctor, shout out to Dr. Burke. Um, but Dr. Burke used to tell me, don't focus on better. And I used to say, Doc, I'm going to get better. And I remember one of the last visits that he saw me, he really was like, I am like really proud to say that you look better. And I was like, yeah, like, so since then, my multiple sclerosis really, really bothers me. But I look at it like it's the energy that I need to remind me that I'm still here and that there is something to do. So get to it. The more I sit, the more I hurt.
Do you get around all right though, or do you have difficulty getting around?
For right now, I get around all right. Now, there are moments where I might need to pick up a cane. There are other moments where I am not moving around at all, because everything is like falling and different things. Those are the days where it's really, really bad. And we just, I just harness in on something as opposed to doing a whole lot of everything. And then we make it through, and then hope, and then eventually, I haven't been in a hospital in almost 7, 8 years, like for an actual treatment where they actually keep you for like 7, 8 days, and they actually give you the steroid to slow everything down. And so it's been about 7 years for me since I've been in the actual hospital. So that's a blessing.
Well, that's great. Yeah, that's fantastic. So at some point, you wrote this book. The book is called Surviving Tough Times. On Your Mark, Get Set, Go. Is that the full title?
It's actually on your march, get set,
Oh, on
go.
your march. Oh, I see. Okay. When did you write this book?
I want to say in between the pandemic. So it was like 2020.
All right. You want to give us a little synopsis of the book? Is the book your life story or is it something else?
No, my book is actually a 30-day journal. So it's anybody that's reading it, it's just a time to recenter yourself, to understand that no matter how bad it really is, you've actually made it before. You can keep doing it. And now you understand why you are actually sitting doing different things, or things are going on. And it also gives you the insight to somebody else, because the same thing that God is doing to you, he's doing to someone else. So you can find understanding, and we can actually eventually sit down together, all together, with your thoughts, my thoughts, and their thoughts. They become our thoughts. And then we can actually begin to heal the world. Like, we can actually see a change because we're actually all putting in. But that's what it is. It's a 30-day journal to really recenter yourself, because everyone is exactly where we need to be. That's the crazy part. Whether it's good or bad, we're exactly where we're supposed to be in this thing called life that God has created for us. We just need to find it. We need to hone us in on it and know that we are the examples that our children need to see. And we need to focus on that. So that's what Surviving Tough Times is all about. Because on your march, get set, go says that when I get in line, you get in line. But the thing that makes it a march instead of mark, because mark is like an individual thing, but a march we can all do together. And then the beat that we use is our heartbeat, you know? So it's like the breathing of things is how we really focus. Everything else is just the glue that keeps us together.
So is this like a self-help book? I mean, if I picked it up, it would say, okay, first you want to do this or you want to try that. Does it give you suggestions of things to do?
It doesn't. It
No.
gives you more of a reflection on how things are in your world right now, like what you're going through, what you've been going through, and why. So you can get a better understanding of how it is that you're going through these things. And then as you recenter how you're going through them, you can appreciate when you come in contact with someone who's different from you, because then you understand that they too are going through. So I wouldn't call it a self-help. I would call it more like, I don't know. It was funny because I kept saying that I wanted to start like a new genre called breathable, where it's not like, it's not one thing or the other. It's just, if you're breathing, you should be able to receive it.
How long has the book been out?
Since March of 2020.
Okay. Have you been getting any reviews?
It was funny because the publisher that I used was the first time for the publishing, and it came out with a lot of clerical mistakes. So it was more so reviewed by people who love me. So because it was the people who love me, they were able to see past the mistakes. To me, I probably didn't throw it out to the world because it wasn't the best representation of who I am, right? So the reviews that I did get, they were great. Everyone loved it. They appreciate the book. They have reviewed things about like situations that they might have been going through, and how the book kind of helped and guided them through. Those are what the reviews are about for the most part. Like the people that I have spoken with and what I have read, those certain days, they pick out certain days. Like I have a day where one of them is just having a conversation with a Muslim, because there's a lot of people, you'd be surprised how many people have never really had the conversation themselves. They've always been told what their conversation should be, what it should be looking like. And just that day is a very enlightening day for a lot of people, because they realize that we have a lot more in common, as Christians than, you know, than we put on. And then we understand, how the seeds of Abraham are the things that we need to kind of pull back and hone in so that we can all get on one accord and do what we need to do, because right now what we're seeing is just turmoil. And I believe that the only way that turmoil really has ever been defeated was a togetherness, like a oneness. And they believed in something, and we need to get our belief back. And that's what surviving tough times is all about. To believe that you can do it, to believe that it's okay. Even if it's not okay, it's still okay. And then the person that's next to you, they can pick you up if you fall, and then it's almost like when you see these horrible situations like tornadoes and, any natural disaster that happens, but then the togetherness that it takes for things to actually come back together is where is where you see greatness. And if you're listening to what the people are saying, once you get past the fact that you've lost everything, but you still have life. And there might be neighbors that you've never met before, and they lost their house and you didn't lose yours. So you'd be crazy not to invite them into your house. Now it's different. When you had a street and everything, you didn't have to talk to your neighbor. It was fine. But in order for us to literally heal this world, it's not fine. We need each other. And that's what surviving tough times is. It's really just it's the introduction to actually put your thoughts on paper so that when we come together, people, it's like you're present. And I believe that if we all become present in a situation, we will easily see it fixed. Easily.
Well, I think that's a great message. And we are just about out of time. I want to just hit on one particular thing. You have a website, and I saw on I think it was your press release, that you were offering some kind of classes or courses, or tell us quickly about that.
Well, basically the way that we're doing it is that the people that read the book are the first people, because they're going to be able to put their thoughts on a daily basis of the 30-day journey. So it's a 30-day journey where you're actually putting your thoughts down on paper. And then we're going to have the classes so we don't have the classes as of right this second, but that is the way that we are seeing this project. We are seeing it like Surviving Tough Times is going to be a place where we can all go. It's a safe place where we can share, where we'll be able to grow as a family and do what we really need to do to be the examples that our children need to see, just to make it through a tough time.
Oh, okay. So it's not up and running just yet, but it's coming, right? Is that what you said?
Right.
Okay.
Yes, it's coming.
All right, great. Well, Adrienne, thanks so much for coming on the show. This was a great message, and very nice to have you on. Can you give out your website, please?
It is IMA Industry. So that would be spelled out IAMAINDUSTRY LLC.com. That's IMAindustry.com. And the best thing to do on that is when you get on that website, first thing you should do is take the self-assessment. There's a standout assessment on there that actually interviews it does a better interview of who you are, so that when we actually sit down and talk, we can actually get through what that tough time is all about. And we can actually start to map it out and work on ourselves as we work on each other.
Okay, great. Thanks again for coming on the show. It was nice meeting you. Best of luck with everything you're doing.
Thanks so much.